فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي وشافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء، فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء، ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا ابنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء، فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، واذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم. وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء، فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد.
ألف لام ميم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Today, in addition to the regular Thursday program, we're gathered to commemorate the martyrdom of the second Imam, Imam Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam, as well as our beloved Prophet, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There will be a Shabi Tabut, as you can see here, and it will be available tomorrow as well for ziyarat. MashaAllah, we have our visiting scholar with us, Maulana Hassan Mushtaba. who will be addressing the majlis tonight. He'll be with us until Saturday as well, addressing the majalis here. For the recitation of the salam, I would like to invite Brother Riaz Jafri. Please recite a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بار دیگر صلوات بر محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو، زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے. آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو، زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے. جب چلے ہوں گے خیمے حرم کے، جب چھنی ہوگی سر سے ودائیں، کیا بنی ہوگی سیدانیوں پہ، یہ سما دل سے جاتا نہیں ہے. ایک پل کے لیے کربلا جا، یاد آئے گا منظر جفا کا. ارے تجھ کو بتلائے گا تیرا آنسو، آج رونے پہ پہرا نہیں ہے. کیوں ناراضی کرے سیدہ کو، ہم تو برپا کریں گے عزا کو. یاد رہ جاتی ہے اس جہاں میں آدمی کوئی رہتا نہیں ہے. جب یسرت تو آئے گی زینب، کیا بتائے گی بھائی کو زینب، لٹ کے زندان سے جو آ رہے ہیں، ان میں بالی سکینہ نہیں ہے. ایک رسی میں سارے گلے ہیں، سر جھکائے یہ شام چلے ہیں. ایک قیدی کمر جھک گئی ہے، خون آنسوں سے رکتا یاد کر پیاسوں کی وہ کہانی، نہ ملا جن کو دو بوند پانی، آج گھر گھر میں پانی بھرا ہے، تیرا سوکھا گلا تو نہیں ہے، لے جاتی ہے رومال میں زہرا، موتیوں کی شکل میں یہ گریا، جو بھی گرتا ہے اس غم میں آنسو، وہ بیکار جاتا نہیں ہے، غم یہ شہزور بیٹا رہے گا، نوح سجاد پڑھتا رہے گا، بد نصیب ہے وہ آدمی جو کربلا پہ جو روتا نہیں ہے، آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو، زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے، موت مہلت نہ دے گی ذرا بھی، لوٹ کر کوئی آتا نہیں ہے، صلوات محمد و آل محمد۔
پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات۔ It is narrated from Imam Hassan that he said, I wonder at those who think about their body's food but do not think about their soul's food. They keep away disturbing food from their bellies but fulfill their hearts with destructive subjects. Now I would like to invite Brother Shabir Rizvi to please come and recite Marsiya. Please recite a loud salawat for Brother Shabir Rizvi.
بار دیگر صلوات۔ کیا سمت مصطفیٰ کی شہادت کی رات تھی، کیا سمت مصطفیٰ کی شہادت کی رات تھی، آفت کی رات تھی وہ، مصیبت کی رات تھی، آفت کی رات تھی وہ، مصیبت کی رات تھی، عالم کے بادشاہ کی رحلت کی رات تھی، زہرا و مرتضی پہ قیامت کی رات تھی، زہرا و مرتضی پہ قیامت کی رات تھی، گزری قلق میں فاطمہ کے نور عین کو، گزری قلق میں فاطمہ کے نور عین کو، ہجر حسن میں نیند نہ آئی حسین کو، ہجر حسن میں نیند نہ آئی حسین کو، کیا صبت مصطفیٰ کی بار محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وجل۔
ہمارے مرحوم آصف نقوی بھائی جن کا حال ہی میں انتقال ہوا ہے، وہ ہر سال اس مجلس اعزا کو اسپانسر کرتے تھے، ان کی اصالِ روح کے لیے ایک سورہ مبارکۃ الفاتحہ تلاوت فرمائیں۔ اور محمد وآل محمد بلندتر صلوات۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔
دشمن معاویہ ہوا شاہ حسن کا جا، دشمن معاویہ ہوا شاہ حسن کا ساکت وہ چند روز غافر کیا، مروان تھا مدینے کا کہ ہم ادویرا بھجوایا اس کو زہر کے واقعات، بھجوایا اس کو زہر کے واقعات، تاکید کی کہ بغض ہے شبر کی ذات سے، کھلوا دے زہر دختار اشعث کے ہاتھ، کھلوا دے زہر دختار اشعث کے ہاتھ سے، اس قہر کا وہ زہر تھا آفات کا تاثر، دم بھر میں ٹکڑے ٹکڑے ہوا شاہ کا جگر، پڑ گیا حسن کا زمانے سے ہے صاف، حیدر کا سبز پوش تڑپتا ہے فرش، حیدر کا سبز پوش تڑپتا ہے فرش، زہرا کی بیٹیوں پہ مصیبت پھر آئی ہے، گھر لوٹ رہا ہے عازم فردوس بھائی، گھر لوٹ رہا ہے عازم भाई है। चिल्लाते थे हुसैन के है ये क्या हुआ, ज़ैनब पुकारती थी अरे किसने की अनागाह तश्त सिबत नबी ने तलब की हो गई शुरू अज़ियत हुई सेवा हो गई शुरू हुई सेवा। अफसोस ये सुलूक शहने के साथ गिरने लगे कलेजे के टुकड़े लहू के वश में हसन थे हो गए होशियार नागा फैलाए हाथ आंखों से आंसू हुए शब्बीर लिपट सीने से करते हुए वो यूं दोनों मिलके रोए के महशर हुआ यूं दोनों मिलके रोए के महशर हुआ बेताब सबके दिल हुए दर्दे जुदाई से शबने राज दिल जो का चोट भाई बादों के कलम पढ़ने लगे शाह ने देखा रुखे हुसैन को रो गए सर बीबियों ने खोल दिए कह के यार मैया के गिर्द अहले हरम का ताजदार मैया के गिर्द अहले हरम का ताजदार यसरब ने खाक उड़ाई के बस्ती हो गई कासिम के रोप गर्द यतीमी की पड़ गई सामान दफन पांच मासूम ने किया गुस्लो कफन बरादर मसमूम को दिया कपड़े नए पहन चुका जब नूर किबरिया सर पीटने लगे हर हमेशा सर पीटने लगे हर हमेशा बोलता हसन जमाते सादात से चले शब्बीर घर से भाई के ताबूत ले चले शब्बीर घर से भाई का ताबूत ले चले चाहा नबी के रोज़े में उमर का रोका मुखालिफों ने हुए बढ़ के ताना शब्बर का जानशी जो हुआ उनसे हम सो बरसाए तीर ज़ालिमों ने उस पे दवा बरसाए तीर ज़ालिमों ने उस पे दवा ताबूत मुस्तफा से गुज़र गए रज़ा गया हुसैन को लेके ठहर गए रज़ा गया हुसैन को लेके ठहर गए याद आ गई वसीयत मकतूल बेगो वासे जनाज़ा लेके बक़ैया में आए पढ़कर नमाज रोने लगे फिर दिया खो दी गई लहतों की आसार में शोरो खो दी गई लहतों की आसार में बेवस्त थे जनाजा शाहे ज़मान में थी हाथों पे लाश उठाई तो निकले कफन से बेवस्त थे जनाजा शाहे ज़मान में थी हाथों पे लाश उठाई तो निकले कफन में थी दुश्मन मुआविया हुआ बर मोहम्मद वाले
Please recite a loud salawat for the well-beings of all the reciters tonight. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Small point from the lecture that Maulana made yesterday. He pointed out there are 5 characteristics of a brave person as per Imam Hassan. If you all remember, it was someone who protects their deen, someone who is humble, someone who reflects on their past actions, they love the creation of Allah, and they fulfill their promises. I have a couple of announcements. I urge all parents that are here or listening from home to please register your children for the annual Yawm Hussain. So it's a children's program that will be held on Saturday, this coming Saturday. Another announcement is in regards to this Sunday, there's a planned hiking or fishing trip, depending on weather conditions. So if you're interested, please contact Brother Ijaz or any of the executives. And finally, the last announcement I have is in regards to Maulana Asad Jafri's speech that was recently sent out, the announcement for it. It will be from 4th Rabiul Awwal to 8th, based on the moon sighting. So it'll either start on October 21st or October 22nd. So please make sure you're paying attention to the announcements that are coming out for more details. And just a clarification on Maulana Asad Jafri's speech. It will be live casted from, he'll be in Toronto, it'll be live casted here in the Hussainiya. It will not be broadcasted from the Hussainiya onward. So if you would like to participate in those majalis, you have to be in the Hussainiya. So please register to be in the Hussainiya. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Also, if there's any youth that are interested, or even adults for that matter, interested in a question and answer session with Maulana Hassan Mujtaba, please contact any of the executives so that can be arranged. Now, without delay, I would like to request Maulana Hassan Mujtaba to please come and address the majalis. Nare Takbir, Nare Risalat, Nare Haidari, Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد أما Amma ba'd, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe, the one who has given in his creation only one the ability to choose their death and to choose their life. A human being is the only creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created that can choose their death and they can choose to be alive. The rest of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are alive. They go through a process which is, you can say, the journey of life. And the end is determined, and that end or destination is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the 240 or 280 billion galaxies with the trillions of planets and stars, they all are on a journey. And that journey is going to end, and that end is going to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But all of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not given the ability to choose whether they choose to be alive or whether they choose to be dead. If we don't understand that concept, we will inshallah try to beg and pray to the mercy and the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire and to aspire and to motivate and to open our hearts to be able to understand this, because we are unique in His creation this way. The uniqueness of a human being in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is based on that choice, whether you want to be alive or whether you want to be dead. Okay. Now this being alive or this being dead does not mean as far as the life and the death of the body. The life and the death of the body is part of the same thing as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the rest of the universe, that they are on a journey where the end is going to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the 100 trillion micro unicell organism inside of your body, you know that you have 100 trillion. You didn't know? 100 trillion is a very big number. I don't know if you can comprehend that, but just to give you an idea, if you had $1 billion, you can spend your whole life spending it, and your life will end, but the money will stay. This is how big 1 billion is. Okay? We're talking about 100 trillion unicell organisms. And on top of that, the 100 trillion unicell organism, 65 trillion are viruses. Okay? 65 trillion are viruses, and about 30 odd percent, you can say 30 million is bacteria. Okay? So now you're coming up with about 60 and 30 is what? 90 trillion. And the 10 trillion is your unicell cells that you have received from your father and mother. With the coordination, with the communication, with the coexistence, with the harmony, with communication, with love and care, this 100 trillion unicell organisms, they perform hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of reactions, actions and reactions during the whole day. Right? You know when Imam Ali says that the universe inside of you is greater than the universe which is outside. Now on this part is still the universe inside is not the universe that Imam Ali is talking. That universe is something different. But if you just look at your human body, on top of that, just to make this, there is a point to this. Okay, on top of your body, there are 100 trillion bacteria and viruses that are on your epidermis and on your skin. So in total, you have 200 trillion bacteria and viruses, you as a product, which is your body. And isn't it ironic, or isn't it strange, or isn't it a point to think that 8 billion people that have in their whole body 200 trillion viruses and bacteria have been brought down on their knees by one unicell organism? that in their whole day, all they're worried about is that one virus. Isn't it ironic? Like you have in your body, you have 100 trillion, you have 65 trillion viruses inside. On your body, you have trillions. 2.5 feet above the ground till the stratosphere, till the end of that sky that we call sky. There is no empty space where there is no bacteria or virus. Out of this massive number, which cannot be even given a number, like we probably will run out of numbers, quadrillion or whatever that we want to say, out of all of those unicell organisms, the whole 8 billion people have been brought on their knees by one. The only thing that they think about is that one. They don't think about the rest of the 65 trillion. Right? Now, the point that I was trying to make is that if you just look at your body, this body is bound by the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it cannot choose to be alive or dead. But there is a part of you that can decide to be either alive or to be dead. And to make sure that you were to stay alive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 prophets, and being the best of all of them, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For what? Inna deena indallahi al-Islam. Right? The only religion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. Meaning the 124,000 prophets, they were all Muslims. The people who followed the 124,000 prophets, they were all Muslims. Until to the point where they start changing the religion that the Prophet has brought. Once they start changing their religion, now no longer they were Muslims. Now they started to either call themselves as Christians, they started to call themselves as Jews, they started to call themselves Hindus, they started to call themselves Sikhs, they started to pagans. Whatever religion or creed or dogma or tradition that exists today has a root and the source from one religion, which is Islam. In 500 years of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam coming and then being lifted and having a veil in another dimension that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has saved him, for only 500 years had passed. And when the Holy Prophet came and started to tell them about the scriptures and the revelations that he was receiving, they were also part of some of the teachings that the Christians already had. And you already know that in his life, the first person to point out that he's a prophet, he was not a Muslim. He was one of the ascetics that was following Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. So according to their teachings, which they remained with Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, the ones who remained with the teachings of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, they were still in the framework of as a Muslim. But when the Holy Prophet came and started to proclaim, the conclusion of all of the prophets. If you were to take the 124,000 prophets' teachings, you know what they would summarize in? La ilaha illallah. That is the whole summary of the 124,000 prophets that were sent on the face of this earth. One sentence, La ilaha illallah. When the Prophet said, Kulu la ilaha illallah, say la ilaha illallah, wa tuflihu, or then you will become successful, then every single person that was there now was put on the spot to either accept that or deny. If they were to accept it, they are continuing with the teachings of the prophets and they are a Muslim. And if they were to deny it, then they are a Christian or they are a Jew. Right? And once the Prophet said, Kulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu, after that, the religion of the same inna deena indallahi al-Islam, the same religion with 124,000 prophets' teaching continued. But from the Holy Prophet till now, how many years have passed? 1,400 and? Huh? Say it loudly. I can't hear you from the mosques. 1,442? 32? 39? Let's round it off to 1400 years. Round it off to 1400 years. Do you think that during this time of 1400 years, we as human beings have done nothing to the teachings of the Prophet? We as human beings, have we not added things? Have we not deleted things? Have we not become those people who have now chosen Islam as a buffet religion? Buffet. I like this thing about Islam, I'll accept it. I don't like this thing about Islam, I'm not going to accept it. Islam has become a buffet now. We have 72 or 73 different denominations in Islam. How are these denominations come about? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought these teachings? No. The denominations come about by people adding or deleting in the teachings of the Prophet. When the Muslims of that time started to add or delete from the teachings of Hazrat Isa, of Hazrat Musa ﷺ, when they started to take those teachings as a buffet, whatever they liked, they would choose. And when they decided to manipulate the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we all know about the people of Saturday, right? Sabbath. They were told you can't fish. They started to make a canal so that the fish are all gathered there, and then they go, we didn't do anything wrong. The Holy Prophet has said that my nation is going to become the photocopy of Bani Israel. That if Bani Israel was to be, like if it was possible, how precise of a photocopy it's going to be. If it was possible to take a camel and put it through the hole of a needle, if the possibility was even to that point of being impossible, the nation of mine is going to be just as close as the Bani Israel. Now if we become a ditto copy of Bani Israel and 1400 years have passed, the question that arises, how many things have we added and how many things have we deleted? You know, mazhab is the place of walking. You with me? Mazhab is a place of walking. This place of walking will lead you to that one path which is called Sirat al-Mustaqim. Give you an example. You want to go to someone's house, you put in the GPS that, this is the destination. The GPS is going to tell you, make a right here, make a left there, make a right there, make a left there, until you get to this highway that is going to take you straight, for example, at the house of the person. Mazhab are those lefts and rights that get you to Sirat al-Mustaqim. Right? It's a place of walking. Okay. What is the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim? Well, the question here, we say that we are from the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. Is the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim this, that Ma'azallah Imam Ali alayhi is Allah? With me. Just bear with me just a little bit. This is the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt, that you call Ali as Allah, you call Ali Shah Allah, Ali Rabbul Alameen. When he is hidden is Allah, when he is apparent is Aliyul Azim. That he created everything. Is this the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim? Is this the place of walking of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim? If this is not the place of walking of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim that will get you to the Sirat al-Mustaqim, then why is it that these people who have made it by their own hands are calling this as a mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim? Which gives them the authority to call themselves as a Shia. And we will consider them still a Shia, that they are following the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. How is it possible that they are following the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt by cutting the roots of Tawheed? How is this possible? Tawheed is part of the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. It is in totality all of the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. There's nothing out of the bounds of Tawheed in the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. We have the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. Tawalla is this way. Tawalla is which way? Tawalla we do. For example, Maulana Sahib is going to recite a certain parts of the history. After reciting those certain parts of the history, we're going to call these as the Fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, and then afterwards we're going to, become sort of rejuvenated or become emotional or become really happy, and then that is going to be Tawalla for us. Do you know the Fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam are as many as if we were to take the trees of this world and make them into pen and make all of the ocean as ink and start writing the Fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam? They will not end. Why is that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's projection of all of the qualities are in the projection of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. When you have so many Fadail of Imam Ali and you just now cut them down to 3 to 4 events of history, are we doing justice to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam? And then when we want to say that Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was that great, we bring about those individuals that you cannot compare Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam with them. We consider that to be Fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. How is this a fazila? How is that a fazila? If I was to say to you, for example, and this is just as an example, because remember we're talking about mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. Our topic is supposed to be what is spirituality. Just remember that. Okay? Listen, I say to you, you're more truthful than Trump. Listen, in your mask, I can't see your micro movement, so everybody looks like the same. But if somebody said to you, for example, you're more truthful than Trump, are you going to take this as a compliment? Are you going to take this as a compliment? You're not. You're going to be offended. You're going to say, the person who's known in the whole entire world as a liar, by his own people, the whole world knows this. This is nothing to do with, this is not news. The whole world knows it. The one that the whole world knows is a liar. You're comparing me with him to say that I am truthful? If you were to say someone is like the embodiment of cowardness, and you say to me that you are more brave than this person, who is the embodiment of cowardness, that if you were to take a look in the dictionary, cowardness, you will see that person's picture, and you say to me, oh, you are braver than him. Is this a compliment for me? This is not a compliment for me. I will be offended. If you were to take a look in the dictionary and you find the picture of someone who's an ignorant person, and then afterwards, you say to me that, you're more knowledgeable than this person. Is this a compliment? It's not. But when it comes to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, we consider all of those things as compliments. Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam's row, if you want to have anyone stand in that row, bring the Anbiya. Bring the prophets. If you want the row of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, if you want to do Fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, bring the row of Anbiya. And with Hazrat Musa, with Hazrat Isa, with Hazrat Ibrahim, bring their character, bring their knowledge, bring their forbearance, bring their sabr, bring their taqwa, bring their iman, bring their yaqeen, bring their conviction. And now do the comparison. There you will find the fazilat of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. when you talk about yaqeen, Imam Ali ﷺ saying, nothing happens to me if any of all of these veils are lifted. There will nothing come above in my conviction. You bring the prophets and look at the level of conviction that they had, and look at the level of conviction that Imam Ali ﷺ had. There you will find the fazila of Imam Ali ﷺ. There's no bringing down the status of the prophets. There's no bringing them down. That's bringing, if you want to see the embodiment of the teachings and the projection of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a human being who is a successor of all of the prophets, bring the prophets, you will see. You want to have the fazila of Imam Ali, the greatness of Imam Ali, bring Quran. Bring Quran. See, the Holy Prophet said in the Khutbah Ghadir that, there are, every time the Quran has made someone as the subject of their talk, and they are praising someone that is needed to be praised in the Holy Quran, the Holy Prophet says the first person that is the subject of that matter is Imam Ali alayhi salatu. You want to do fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salatu, bring taqwa. Bring the definition of taqwa. And then you will find that he's Amir Muttaqeen. You want to find the fazila, bring Iman, bring the definition of Iman. You will find him to be Amir al-Mu'minin. You want to bring the definition of ilm. You will find that Saluni qabla an tafkiruni. Bring those things. Those are, what will happen is that once we bring those things, once we bring Iman, once we bring sabr, patience, once we bring conviction, yaqeen, once we bring taqwa, piety, righteousness, power, spiritual power, when we bring all of these things and we try to understand and we get the definition, then what will happen to us is that we will get inspired by the example of Imam Ali. Then he will become a role model for us. And guess who was the role model of Imam Ali alayhi salatu? Who was the role model of Imam Ali alayhi salatu? لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. What did Imam Ali alayhi salatu inspire to become? What was his life dedication to become? How did he want his character to become? How did he want his faith to become? How did he want his conviction to become? How did he want his knowledge to become? It was no other than the Holy Prophet, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Who was the role model of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu? The role model of Imam Hassan was no other than the Holy Prophet. Who was the role model of Imam Hussain? No other than the Holy Prophet. Imam Sajjad, Imam Baqir, Imam Jafar, Imam Musa Kazim, Imam Rada, Imam Taqi, Imam Naqi, Imam Hassan Askari, Imam Zaman alayhi salatu. Who is the role model of all of these people? The Holy Prophet. And if you and I call ourselves as Shias, who should be our role model? Who should we aspire to become in our character, in our conviction, in our knowledge, in our piety, in our sabr? Who should we aspire and want to become? So far we haven't even thought of that. For our children, the role models is a basketball player. When we were young, who you want to become? Doctor, lawyer, fireman, IT professional. Now who's going to be a role model? Go to university, become what? Become what? Study Newtonian science, Darwinian theories. Get yourself to the point where you're confused whether God exists or not. find those theories that were started from the 1800s, who have become nothing more but dogmas and labels and restricted, ideas in science, that if you don't get out of, if you are just on that box, you will get your funding. If you are out of that box, you won't get funding anymore. And the guy who gave, just an example now it has come, the person who gave the model of an atom was in 1800, you know that? Bohr. When there was no electron microscope. How did you come up with it? How do you know that an atom has a nucleus with neutrons and protons? How do you know that there is an electron that is going around it? How do you know? Have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it. How do you know? There is no electron microscope. But this is what it is. Okay, this is what it is. All of the theories are based on that model, and then we are studying this in university till today. And we already have electron microscopes. We can see what an atom looks like. But if it does not coincide with Bohr's model, guess what will happen to all of the theories? Guess what will happen to Newtonian sciences? The law of Newton, what will happen to it? What will happen to all of the biology, chemistry, physics that are going to be based as atoms and molecules? Can we take that risk of having all of that to go down the drain? No, just keep it this way. It's better this way. The mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim, we cannot make it. The mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim is knowledge. Saath saath rahiyega. When I'm talking in English, sometimes you think it's only for the youths. It's not just for the youths, just because I speak in English. The mazhab of Ahlul, what is the walking place? Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim. What is that walking place of the people that are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And being blessed is not about money and power and greed and jealousy and all that. These are not blessings. Blessings are knowledge. You want to see the blessing of knowledge where he distributed? Look at the Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. You won't find anyone else. You want to know the blessing of sabr, forbearance? Look at Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. You won't find anywhere else. You want to know taqwa, you want to all of these qualities, even the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to know as these as blessings, where will you find? You will find it in Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. Therefore, the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim, the ones that have been blessed, is nothing more than these qualities. My walking path has to be of knowledge. My walking path has to be of piety. My walking path has to be of conviction. My walking path has to be of forgiveness. My walking path has to be of taqwa. These are the walking paths of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. Therefore, this is the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. Was Salman Farsi on the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim or no? He was. Where was he walking? Was he walking on the pathway of lying? Was he walking on the pathway of greed? Was he walking on the pathway of jealousy? Was he walking on the pathway of arrogance? Was he walking on the pathway of love of this world? Was he walking on the pathway of riyasat, of a kursi, of a power, of a status? Was he walking on any of those pathways of jealousy and so forth? Was he? No! If someone walks on the pathway of jealousy, of ignorance, of the love of this world, of non-righteousness, or for their status, for their ego, for their, ananiyat, if someone's walking on that, living their life on that, do you think that person is on the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim? Consider that person on the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. This is the walking pathway of Imam Ali, Mazallah. Because Salman Farsi walked on the pathway towards knowledge, towards piety, towards patience, towards conviction, towards Iman, towards taqwa. Therefore, when he reached a certain place, the Holy Prophet said, Minna ala al-bayt. that this Salman Farsi got an honorary degree to be from the Ahlul Bayt. When he made Imam Ali as his role model, and when for example, Imam Ali would lift his foot, you would find the foot of Salman Farsi there, without any delay. Imam would take another step, you'll find Salman Farsi there. When he became such, the Holy Prophet said, you are the Shia of Imam Ali. You see how far we are from the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt? Today, the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt, Mazallah, Tabarra, is someone who's swearing. Someone who swears. We think this is Tabarra. You think that's the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt? The Mazallah, they walked on the path of swearing. You will not find them such. What is the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt? What is the mazhab of Imam Hassan? A slave, one of his servants, spilled something. Imam Hassan says, now she's scared. What will happen to me? Imam Hussaini says, you're free now, go. You're out of my bound. One of his servants brings a rose of flower. You're free now. Right? A person comes from Sham, and he's Mazallah swearing. Right? He's talking things that he has heard for the last 50 years, that from the member of the Prophet, people used to swear at Imam Ali. We understand in history the swearing, गाली जो है ना, वो कभी भी इमाम मासूमीन के साथ निस्बत नहीं है उसकी. Never ever was it connected to Ahlul Bayt al-Islam. The person was doing this, Imam Hassan has some mazhab, Imam Hassan ka mazhab. What is his mazhab? What is the walking path of Imam Hassan? Imam Hassan says, you look like you're a stranger. You look like you're not from here. Come to my house. I will feed you. I will take care of you. If you need something, I'll give it to you. This is his mazhab. You want to be on his mazhab? Be like that. Someone who starts swearing at you, someone who's, you don't swear back. You say to them, look, maybe you're upset with something that I have done. Please, can you tell me what I've done? If it is such that I have made a mistake, I will bow down, admit to my mistake. You don't need to do this. This is the mazhab of Imam Hassan. What is the mazhab of the Holy Prophet? The Holy Prophet's walking path, look at that. The person is throwing garbage at him. The woman is throwing garbage at the Prophet. What is his way? What is his mazhab? One day she's not throwing garbage. The Prophet asked, where is that person who was throwing garbage at me? Where is that woman? And they said that she is not well. The Holy Prophet comes to see her. See, I did not see you today. I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. And the woman, she said, but Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, I used to throw garbage on you. And you're here asking how I am. The Prophet says, I want to know how you are. When he started preaching, people threw stones at him. One time, they threw stones at him. And the Prophet's forehead started to bleed. And as his forehead started to bleed, he went, and then there was, in the mountains, he stood there while his forehead was bleeding. And Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam comes and says, Ya Rasulullah, look what they've done to you. Look what they've done to you. They've injured your forehead. Do the dua. Do the dua. Raise your hands. I will destroy these people. I will annihilate these people. And the Holy Prophet lifted his hands and he said, Ya Allah, these people do not know. Forgive them. They do not know. And he said to us, Jibreel, he said, look, I have not come in this world to annihilate. I am Rahmatul lil Alam. I am the mercy for universes. And then there, the Holy Prophet said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, when the day of judgment comes, can you do me a favor? Can you let me handle the judgment of my nation? Because I don't want them to be embarrassed in front of the other nations of the Prophet. He said, let me handle the judgment. I will do the judgment. So that my nation doesn't get embarrassed in front of the nation of Hazrat Musa. It doesn't get embarrassed in front of the nation of Hazrat Isa. Let me do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied to the Prophet. He said, Mere Habib, the one that I love, oh my beloved, on the day of judgment, I will do the judgment of your nation myself. So that they're not embarrassed even in front of you. Perfect human being with the heights of perfection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought for us as an example. How many of us by this definition of the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt are on their mazhab? We consider that, to do the commemoration of the Holy Prophet's martyrdom, or to death anniversary, or to the commemoration of the martyrdom of Imam Hassan or Imam Masumin al-Amsam, to do the commemoration of the Masahib of Bibi Zainab and Bibi Fatima and Bibi Kulsum and Bibi Sakina, and just to do the commemoration of that, and to, for example, for their birthdays to celebrate and for their death anniversaries to commemorate, that is all the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt. This is not all the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim, my brothers and sisters. These are the things that were told to us to do so that we can get inspired to follow the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. They had told us to do the azah of Imam Hussain salam. They carried that azah of Imam Hussain salam so that when we are, down on our knees, when we are weak, when we are wretched, when we are cowards, when we have made ourselves dirt, when we have no other way to go, when we are confused, when our families are all separated, when our houses have been becoming hell, when our communities are becoming hell, when we have divided ourselves, when we are hurting each other, when we are in the lowest place in our life, the name Zainab can lift us up. The name Hassan can lift us up. The name Abu Abdullah can lift us up. Can bring us back to life if we are dead. Who is dead? The person who doesn't discover the truth, who cannot submit to the truth, and who himself or herself is an addict, is a dead person. The addiction, we are all addicts. When I say we are all addicts, if you have a phone, you're an addict. If you think you're not an addict, leave the phone at home. Come. Leave the phone at home and come to the majlis of Imam Hussain. If you're not an addict, go and turn the Wi-Fi off. Go home and turn it off. Remember, before 1995, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We were still alive, no? We didn't have email, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have Snapchat, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Gmail, we didn't have Wi-Fi, we didn't have Google. Were we not alive? Did something happen to us? No, we were alive. Is this your necessity that will keep you alive? No. Close your Facebook account if you're not an addict. Go home, close it. Go home and close your Twitter account. Go home and close all of your social media accounts if you're not an addict. If you can't. If you try to justify, no, this is just a tool. This is not a tool. The people who have made this, they say that this is the most dangerous drug that exists in the world today. There are two industries, they call their customers users. One is the drug industry and the other is the Wi-Fi, Twitter, Google and YouTube. They call their customers users. Today our children are addicted to their PS4s and to their PC games and to YouTube and to Instagram and to the social media, to the consoles that they have. Do you think they are alive? Their phones have been taken. They are theirs now, not yours. That's why you only see them when the Wi-Fi goes down. They come out of their rooms. What happened? If you think you're not an addict, unplug yourself. A definition of a tool, I'll say it again. Definition of a tool is such. For example, you have a plier. It's in your cupboard, right? Let's say you want to use it. The tool is waiting for you. It's not in your hands. It's not constantly monitoring what you're doing. It's not constantly listening to what you're doing. It's not constantly collecting data of your growth and your engagement and all of this other stuff. It's not doing that. The plier is not doing that. When the Senate hearing was done for Google, and one of the senators asked the question, he said about privacy, right? He said that if I have this phone in my hands and I walk over to you, would you know it? Would Google know that I walked from that seat to your table? Guess the answer was yes. Now you tell me this is a tool? It beckons you. It's your master. It's your addiction. It's spying on you. It knows where you are, what you do. It will tell you what to think. You don't have independent thought anymore. You'll be surprised, two people are sitting down on our social media WhatsApp groups. People are on there for hours and hours and hours, this message, that message, and they're talking, someone is Mazallah talking bad about the marja, someone about some Maulana, all of these arguments after 2 hours, 3 hours, what do we get in the end? More divisions, more people hurt, more people upset, more people becoming arrogant, more people becoming cowards. What do we get out of that? You see, an addict is not alive. It's only alive when the addiction is fulfilled. Otherwise, it's dead. The Holy Prophet came to make us alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants life for us. He wants life for us. He doesn't want death for us. He wants life for you. Right? Imam Hussain wants life for you. Imam Hassan wants life for you. He wants to see you alive. Choose life. From the beginning of my introduction, you have a choice. Either you can choose to be alive or you can choose to be dead. And this choice has not been given to anyone else but you. If you become alive, you will find those places that no other being in the universe can find. And what they are, we'll talk about it the next time that I'm speaking to you. But just remember, do not define the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Islam by your own definition. Get the mazhab of Ahlul Bayt al-Islam from Ahlul Bayt al-Islam. Last tradition from Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan says, someone asked him, what is being faqir? What does it mean to be faqir? Imam says, the one who desires everything is faqir. इमाम से किसी ने पूछा कि फकीर कौन होता है? इमाम कहते हैं फकीर वो होता है जो अपनी ख्वाहिशात के ऊपर अमल करता है, जो हर चीज को चाहता है, वो फकीर है. Look at the world today. We've been told to desire everything. That is being faqir. Who is a rich man? Rich man is someone who says, I don't need all of this. I am content in what I have. That's a rich person. By that mazhab of Imam Hussain of Ahlul Bayt, define yourself whether you're poor or rich. Don't define yourself whether you're rich or poor by the definitions given to us by the world. Define yourself whether you're rich or poor. You see, this discussion is totally different. Imam Hassan ﷺ's example for us is literally the floodlight in this darkness that we live. He is the Masiha. He is the life giver to the dead souls. It is his words that bring those dead souls back to life. If your soul was dead and you did not know what being faqir is, this words of wisdom that are the universal truth from the mouth of Imam Hassan is going to make you alive. You're going to see the world in a different light. Imam Hassan sacrificed what he had so that people can become alive. The Holy Prophet sacrificed everything so that people can become alive. The masahib of them, if I can take you in your mind, go to the time where the Prophet's body is lying there. The Prophet has taken his last breaths in the lap of Bibi Fatima. Here's the part of his soul, his essence. Bibi Fatima's lap, and here's the head of her father, who is the dearest thing in this whole universe for Bibi Fatima. That there is nothing else that Bibi Fatima finds to be more dear and loved. Why? Because he is the Prophet of Allah. He is her father, but he's also the Prophet of Allah. The love that Bibi Fatima had for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being projected in her lap to the Holy Prophet. And the Holy Prophet is taking his last breaths. And Bibi Fatima can see that these are the last breaths of my father. As each breath comes, Bibi Fatima sees herself getting closer and closer to the point where she will realize that I have lost everything. This Abiha, the mother of her father, who started taking care of her father in a very young age, She would remember my father used to come home and I used to take the thorns out of his feet. I was so little. My father would come home and his feet would be dirty. His feet would have thorns. I would take them out. I would clean his feet. She would remember the time that the Prophet would come home and in his hair would be the garbage that has been thrown. And Bibi Fatma would be taking that garbage out of his hair. She would remember I took care of my father, that I got the title of Umme Abiha, the mother of her father. Here he's taking his last breaths. And then a time came when in the lap of Bibi Fatima, the Prophet had that was there, his eyes are closed now. And here comes the last breath of the Holy Prophet, and after that Bibi Fatima is looking at his chest and his chest is not moving. The last breath of the Prophet has come out. Her whole life has been turned upside down. Here the body of the Prophet lies. Bibi Fatma is crying, Imam Ali is crying, Imam Hassan is crying, Imam Hussaini is crying. This beautiful person, this perfect human being, the one that was our shelter, the one that gave us everything, the one who was our protector, is gone. And the body of the Prophet is just lying there. There is no one coming. 1 day passes. 2 days passes. The 3rd day comes. Imagine how much Bibi Fatima what would be the condition of her heart. That my father who went and preached and whose feet got injured, whose hair had garbage, who had stones thrown at him so that these people can become alive. These are the same people now. He is dead. No one's coming to bury him. This is the condition of the funeral of the Prophet. Come a little bit forward. Now is the time for the funeral of Bibi Fatima. Look at these funerals, how they were managed in history. Bibi Fatima has to be buried in the darkest of the darkest night, so no one knows where she's buried. No one should know where she's buried. That the next day people come and ask Imam Ali, where did you bury her? We want to take her body out of the earth. Come at the funeral of Imam Ali. In so many different directions, the funeral was sent. So that nobody knows the place of burial of Imam Ali. That where Imam is buried. Come to the funeral of Imam Hassan. The one who suffered with the poison in his blood, with his organs being torn in pieces, with his organs shutting down, with him coughing blood, coughing his liver out, where his whole body turns into green. As Imam Hussain sees his brother in that excruciating pain, the ghusl and kafan is done. and the tabut is being taken, the casket is being taken to be buried. But here comes these arrows. Here come these arrows that pierce the body of Imam Hassan. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ridhan bi qada'ihi wa tasliman li amrih. Ya Allah, for the sake of Imam Hussain, for the sake of Holy Prophet, for the sake of Bibi Fatima, Ya Allah, bring our dead hearts to life. Ya Allah, make us understand what the truth is. Ya Allah, make us submit to the truth. Ya Allah, please save our progenies, our youths, our children. Please make them alive. Get them out of the traps of the enemy. Ya Allah, give us the opportunity to become the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, for the Imam of the time to come as soon as possible. Mahatma Hussain.
سے کفن لال ہوا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان ہو گلتے ہوئے بھائی کو بہن نے دیکھا تڑپ کے یہ کہا تڑپ کے یہ کہا تیری غربت پہ بھائی تیری زینب ہو فدا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان ماں کے دکھ سے ابھی آزاد کہاں تھی زینب ہو گیا کیسا غزہ ہو گیا کیسا غزہ باپ زندہ نہ رہا بھائی سوئے خود چلا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان بے خطا مار گیا سبط رسول دوسرا حسن سبز کمان زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صدق رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب کر دیے زہر حلال نے جگر کے ٹکڑے اور قاسم کے لیے اور قاسم کے لیے کم سنی میں ہے یہ غم شام غریبا جیسا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب گھر سے ایک بار جنازہ جو نکل جاتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے یہ وہ تابوت ہے جو لوٹ کے پھر گھر کو چلا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب شہن اس وقت جو غازی کو نہ روکا ہوتا حشر ہو جاتا بقا حشر ہو جاتا بقا آئے نہ جنازے پر تمہارے مولا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب شہ کو ریحان برادر کے جگر یاد آیا جب سرے کرب بلا جب سرے کرب بلا ٹکڑے قاسم کے اٹھاتے ہوئے مولا نے کہا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا ذکر رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب شہ کو ریحان برادر کا جگر یاد آیا جب سرے کرب بلا جب سرے کرب بلا ٹکڑے قاسم کے اٹھاتے ہوئے مولا نے کہا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا صرف رسول دوسرا وہ حسن سبز کباب بے خطا مار گیا حسین یا 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 حسین اللہم صلی علی محمد
محمد
امام زمانہ